Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a good Easter spring break this week. I know some people that I love and care about very much are traveling and praying for their safety and their traveling mercies. They seem to do this about this time of the year and to go visit friends and stuff, and I think it's wonderful. Hope they have a safe trip and they get back safely and there won't be any car or van trouble or anything. And just help them to be blessed and help that we'll all get back together when they get back. Um, and we'll all be together as a family again. I really love them very much. And they're always on my heart and in my prayers. So, and never stop hoping, never stop praying. That's the motto. Well, a lot of things going on. Friday there was Washington D.C. had a lockdown. It was Friday, actually. It didn't happen this morning. I think I said this morning on another thing. I just typed something there, so I want to retract that. That happened Friday. And, of course, they're getting ready for the summit that's coming up this weekend, this Friday. This weekend's coming up. And, of course, meanwhile, a lot of hospitals in D.C. were hit with malware, ransomware, demanding money. So they were holding hospitals there with ransomware on the computers. So, a lot of crazy stuff going on. Right now, the U.S. defense can't seem to find over $2.5 billion. Doesn't it sound a lot like what happened before 9/11? Remember, they lost about $2 million then, too. They didn't know where it went. Well, that was to finance what they did to the towers, which is what caused our freedoms to be changed and some to be taken, just like more false flags. They had a police drill also on this morning in D.C., which caused the Capitol to be locked down. Instead, a woman was shot. We don't know if she was killed, but we know she did sustain some injury from gunfire. We don't know if she was dead or anything. As far as we know, no information is available at this time. But of course, then there's a guy that started shouting off that he was a prophet from God in D.C., and of course they have him in his vehicle and guarding his vehicle. Guards are outside his vehicle, so he stays there during this time, during the lockdown in the Capitol. Meanwhile, Obama continues to have secret meetings with Fidel Castro, president of Cuba, and of course he says that, Cuba president says he don't want to have anything to dealings with the United States, but yet it's kind of weird how secretly President Obama is having many meetings with him. And of course, Phil Castro is he's a communist, and Obama is also a communist because he's a Muslim, and a lot of Muslims are communists when it comes to their thinking and the way they do things. So, if you study Muslim history and study where they're from, I'm not being mean, but that's usually how a majority of Muslims operate and how they really are and how their views are. If they're not Americanized, that's how they normally are. So, they beheaded a preacher, or not a preacher, but a priest on Sunday to show their honor towards the crucifixion of Christ, which means they were kind of cursing it and mocking the crucifixion of Christ when they did that on Sunday. I don't know if a lot of you all know this, but they did. And that was ISIS that had something to do with that, which is a U.S. funded group that is paid for by the elitist and powerful men in the United States that are supporting this group, has been admittedly openly in plain sight on the internet and on various media sources that the U.S. government and the president and other people and high power people are supporting these groups to go out and cause terrorism within the United States and abroad around the world, to cause martial law and to cause a one world government. This really is a big picture of the proponents of what this thing is really about. What they plan to do is bring in soldier-like people, because there are a lot of soldiers that are coming in here as well as across the world where they're taking in their refugees. Well, there are some in there that really do need help, but there are a lot in there that are soldiers. So when they're designated, when they're called upon, they will take down this government as well as all the other governments in the world, so they can usher in martial law and enact New World Order policies. And of course, that's what they're waiting for. As we said, there was a shooting drill where a woman sustained injuries from gunfire. They do believe this may be a warning sign of a precursor of a false flag that could be coming up around or the summer or before the elections or at the time of the elections. So be looking out, just to let you know, this could be a warning of a false flag. And they're doing drills all over the country, around cities and states and capitals all over the place, not just in D.C. But anyway, even though they say there's a bomb threat from Cuba, that they want to bomb, the D.C., which is, and there's threats of terrorism. And of course, it's a pretty normal day other than that in D.C., because that's pretty much like business like usual. The hypes and rumors of war. And of course, there is a threat of terrorism. Yeah, people that will come in our country because they're not vetting them or checking their background. That's what vetting somebody is. And they're not checking all their background. And of course, yes, we're definitely going to have terrorism eventually here soon, very soon, because there's nothing being done about the security or the whereabouts of these people. And that's what you get when you have open borders. And that's why we need to close the borders, because that's the reason why nations have borders, in case you forgot about that. But that's the reason why we have them. If we were all supposed to be open, this country wouldn't last long if we just stay open, where people can pilferage on everything that we have, our resources, our people, raping our women and children, which is going on in our country right now. It's not being reported, but it is going on around the border of our country. There's a lot of women and children and teenagers being raped every day, and nobody is saying a word or reporting it, which the dinosaur bought out media ought to be ashamed of themselves not reporting this stuff, because if we can report it accurately, we can get a hand on it and stop this mayhem. I see a lot of people aren't doing that. So, that's what I'm telling you. A lot of houses are getting broken into down there. Things are getting stolen. Things are getting seized by crooked officers and other officials in the government outfit soup agencies, in that area. That's what I'm telling you. We have to stand up. We have to stop this stuff, because that's what's going to happen all over America. It's already happening down there on the bordering states. It's not being talked about, but it is a big problem, and it's getting worse every day. And until we start to do something, we all band together and do something as Americans. Yes, there are people that need help. I agree with that. But there are also a lot of people coming in here that want to take this country down, too. And they're not just coming in here. They're coming into all countries that are doing the same thing we're doing, opening up their borders. It's all by design, people, to take the country, to take the world down so they can implement the New World Order. I don't know why people can't see that or connect the dots, but that is really what it's all leading towards. These visions I'm getting are getting worse. And that person I really love so much, I wish you would help me. I need you. I need your family. I need you so much, because you help a lot. And I really mean that from my heart. You really help me with that stuff. I need you. So, just I really do love you, and I need you. So just think about that. And, I love the people that I care about, and I do care about you all very much. This is just some of the news that's going on. And one more thing before we go. Lisa Haven's channel released a video. I'm just going to give you a summarization of it. But there are all these Baal-like temples being erected, and one is going to be erected next month in New York City in Times Square. I checked it out. Resources are legit. I thought it was bogus. I thought it was something that you hear from Stargate or something. But it's going to be erected next month. A building, a temple that has been given to Nimrod, which is a god that is which is an antichrist. And the antichrist is going to use these gateways or portals to travel from place to place. So they have to establish these temples of Baal so that the god, that way this god, or which you think is a god, because God's already everywhere. He don't need portals to travel through. But this God does, so he can move from one place to the other quickly. But God, he's already there. The real God, true God, is already there. He's everywhere. He don't have to travel. So that gives you a big difference in over this Antichrist phony God. But he needs these portals to travel. So that's what the gateway is about. Remember we were talking about that in Revelation, kids, about a gateway, how it was going to be erected by men. That's us. We're going to resurrect this building, which is going to, with the CERN project, that's what's going to make it all possible, where they can travel through and from this gateway. The CERN project has a lot to do with this. And it's going to definitely get interesting. They're going to put these Baal temples all over the globe, all over the place. And that's so they can have quick transport. This is crazy stuff, but it's true. This ought to outrage all leaders in church, because this is really what's happening. I mean, this is end time apocalyptic prophecies that is coming true. Now, when we look up the word Baal, on the surface it means confusion, because at the Tower of Babel, that meant the Tower of Confusion. When we study it and look at it a little further, it also means a gateway to the gods, okay? Which means fallen angels or demons will be able to pass through this portal. Not just the Antichrist, but also the Antichrist will use this portal to transport from place to place. Because remember, he's not God. He's not everywhere like the real true God that we have in the universe. But the prince of the air has to travel that way. The Antichrist is the same manifestation, same way, because he is a child or the spawn of Satan, but in the flesh. It will look like a being. And I believe he's here, but he just hasn't come on the scene yet. But there's just some things to think about, not to be scared of, but to be in the know and to study and research. So Michael de Silvas, I really need you all. I love you all. I really need you to help me with these visions. I can't stand being without you. Thank you. And stay tuned for more updates. This is Michael de Silvas in the news. I tell you this stuff not to scare you, but to inform you. And also because I love you. Take care.